At approximately 10:15 a.m., officers responded to a shooting call at 12,300 Hoblitzelle Drive. Upon arrival, officers observed a pregnant woman who was shot. A witness inside the location heard the victim yell out the suspect's name, and that same witness observed the suspect driving away from the location. This witness gave police officers the description, and that description was broadcast over the police radio. At about 11:53 a.m., officers observed the suspect driving near Skillman and LBJ, and the officers attempted to stop him. The suspect refused to stop, and a vehicle pursuit ensued. At about 12:25 p.m., while still in a vehicular chase near Hamilton Park at Pacesetter Magnet Elementary in the 8300 block of Town Street, the suspect leaned out of the driver's window and fired his weapon at pursuing officers. At that point, officers did not return fire, nor were there any injuries. This vehicle pursuit continued in the 12,000 block of Bellafonte, where the suspect stopped, exited his vehicle, and fired his weapon again at pursuing officers. Officer Malouf was struck once in the lower abdomen by a bullet that passed through his vehicle's door. Officers then returned fire. The suspect returned to his vehicle, and the pursuit continued. The suspect was uninjured at this point. A fellow officer went to Officer Malouf's aid and transported him to Medical City Hospital. The suspect continued while being pursued by officers, stopped, abandoned the vehicle, and ran inside of a residence. The suspect barricaded himself inside a residence, and Dallas Police SWAT officers were called to the location. SWAT officers negotiated with this suspect for several hours, and at 4 p.m., the suspect was taken into custody without incident, with no injuries to the suspect. This suspect is identified as Tyrone Christopher Allen. He will be booked into Lucerne jail with 1 count of capital murder for the death of Ms. Jackson, and additional charges are pending. Officer Malouf was released from the hospital and is recuperating at home. Officer Malouf has been with the department for 5 years and is assigned to the Northeast Patrol Division. He also served in the United States Army in 2001, in Kosovo, Iraq, and Afghanistan, and was honorably discharged in 2007. I'm going to ask that Major Cartner come up from the Crimes Against Persons Division to answer any questions related to the investigation of the events that transpired today. Questions?
Family members at the scene, Major, had said that the victim was 8 months pregnant. Is there any way to determine how far along the pregnancy was?
Well, that'll be something the medical examiner will certainly assist us with, but she was in the final stages of a pregnancy. And what Chief mentioned earlier about the capital murder charge, what part of that capital murder charge is that the death of, and our victim, by the way, her name is, let me get that for you, if you guys don't have our victim's name. It is Breshana, and it's B-R-E-S-H-U-A-N-A Jackson, J-A-C-K-S-O-N. And Miss Jackson and her unborn child are deceased, and that commendation right there is the capital murder charge. Additional charges are pending because of the actions against our officers, but those are what we know right now, that we're able to put together a PCA, a warrant. Jonathan, my understanding is that he did find a place underneath the residence that he took shelter in, and he crawled all the way down there. I know that the officers had been deploying gas early in the SWAT process, and he'd shot refuge there. Well, boss, he didn't come on his own, so yes, sir, we had to go get him. He was not injured at all. I'm sorry, what was your question? I don't have all that information yet. I do know that we're looking at whether or not they had some family violence history, and that's something, or domestic violence history, and that's under investigation right now.
Can you give us his full name and
Sure. It's Tyrone, Tyrone, middle name Christopher, Christopher, and that's Allen, Allen. His birth date is 6/5 of 86. So what's that, 27? Or almost 27, yes. I don't know. I don't have all that yet. We were still working through that.
Neighbors were saying that he might have been involved in previous shootings, the last month. Is he a suspect in any other incidents?
Not to my knowledge, but thank you for that information, and I'll make sure that we're following up on that. Let me give you guys some information about our officers. I must have done something there. Guys, I'll just let you know about our officers. First off, I'm going to talk about the officers that were involved in the shooting. As Chief Brown mentioned, when the suspect stopped and shot Officer Malouf, two officers engaged the suspect at the time, Mr. Allen at the time. Those officers are Louis Canales, Canales, and Officer Canales has been on the department since April 30th of 86. The other officer involved in the shooting there was Jason Guerin, Giron, and he was hired on May 8th of 1990. Officers Canales and Officer Guerin are the officers that observed suspect Allen at LBJ and Skillman, so they initiated the pursuit. The officer that went to Mr. Malouf's aid is Jennifer Mamola, Mamola. She was hired in July of 2000. She has 12 and a half years. None of the officers have been previously involved in the shooting. Could you repeat? I'm sorry, sir. Could you repeat? I believe that you may be describing, but I'm without looking at the video, but you may be describing the incident there at Bellafonte and High Point where the actual police shooting occurred. Yes, sir.
Will the chase itself basically go from Skillman and LBJ all the way down to 30 over to downtown Central line starting at?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, guys, thank you.
We don't have any detailed information regarding